welcome to another episode of Church in the Lounge Room for the Wallen Gateway kids and for the Roxy kids from their kids club. We started 4 weeks ago with this online business of church. We started off with a Palm Sunday where Jesus rode on a donkey into Jerusalem to go and celebrate the Passover meal. Then we met again on Good Friday where Jesus was arrested, beaten and crucified. But then on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, we learned that Jesus rose again and that the tomb was empty. The women found it empty. After the resurrection, Jesus appeared to many people. One of them we heard about last Sunday. His name is Peter. He had denied Jesus 3 times during a trial, but then was restored and asked to look after God's sheep. Jesus' sheep. And today we're going to hear a story done by Eva about 2 disciples who got to meet Jesus in a very special way. So let's hear that.
Welcome Wallen Gateway children and tots and Roxby Park Kids Club. So this was your second week back at school. I do hope everything went a little bit smoother and things are starting to make a little bit more sense during your remote learning. And we'll just hopefully get through this all together. But with God's grace and His compassion for us, we'll be able to do it. So this week we're looking at Luke chapter 24, and we do have a story for you to sit back and listen to and watch. So get comfy and listen. Now the same day the tomb of Jesus was found empty, 2 of Jesus' disciples were called to a village called Emmaus. It was a walk of about 10 kilometres from Jerusalem. They were discussing the recent events that happened in Jerusalem. As they talked, Jesus came up and walked along with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. "What are you discussing as they walk along?" Jesus asked. They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, called Cleopas, replied, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know what has happened there in the last few days?" "What things?" Jesus asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in all he said and did. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. We had hoped that he was the one who was going to save Israel. It is now the 3rd day since all this took place. Then today some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but did not find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive." Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it empty, just as the women had said, but they did not see Jesus. Jesus said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter his glory?" Then, beginning with Moses, all the prophets, he explained to them what he said in all the scriptures about himself, the Messiah. As they approached Emmaus, Jesus continued on as if he was going further. But they insisted, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When Jesus was at the table with them, he took bread and gave thanks, broke it and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized Jesus. He instantly disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning while he talked with us on the road and explained the scriptures to us?" They got up and returned immediately to Jerusalem. They found the 11 disciples and those with them assembled together and saying, "It is true, the Lord has risen and has appeared to Simon." Then the two told what had happened on their trip and how Jesus was recognized by them when he broke the bread. You know, it's quite an interesting story how Our vision can be a bit blind sometimes when we're caught up in our own fleshly world. And at school and in our daily lives, things like that can happen. So sometimes we just need to take a step back and not get caught up in other friends' dramas and chaos, and just have our eyes opened again and be really focused on Jesus and the Lord. And to do that, we have to just pray to him, talk to him, and really help us be able to see what he sees. And through compassion and his grace, he will help us.
What an amazing victory that is, to see Jesus defeat death by being crucified, but then rising again. In the resurrection, we see a real victory over death. And this song that we're going to hear now is all about victory.
If God is for me, who could ever be against me? And if God is for me, I don't need to fear the enemy. There is victory in Jesus, there is victory in him. He gave me grace, I gave him my sin. He died on the cross and then he rose again. There is victory in Jesus, there is victory in him. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, this will be our battle cry. The tomb is empty, he's alive. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. The enemy better run and hide. The King of Kings is on our side. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. The accuser comes at me as quick as he can, but no weapon formed against me will stand. I am redeemed by the blood of the Lamb, protected forever by the great I am. There is victory in Jesus, there is victory in him. He gave me grace, I gave him my sin. He died on the cross and then he rose again. There is victory in Jesus, there is victory in him. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, this will be our battle cry. The tomb is empty, he's alive. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. The enemy better run and hide. The King of Kings is on our side. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. Let's go! Jesus, there is victory in him. He gave me grace, I gave him my sin. He died on the cross and then he rose again. There is victory in Jesus, there is victory in him. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, this will be our battle cry. The tomb is empty, he's alive. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. The enemy better run and hide. The King of Kings is on our side. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. This will be our battle cry. The tomb is empty, he's alive. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y, V-I-C-T-O-R-Y. The enemy better run and hide. The King of Kings is on our side. V-I-C-T-O-R-Y.
The disciples' eyes were open when Jesus broke the bread. Our prayer can also be that Jesus opens our eyes to see our world with his eyes. There is a verse in Psalms 119, verse 18, that helps us to remember this, and that is, "Open my eyes so that I can see the wonderful truths in your law."
As you know, we always make a craft. and this week is no different. So get your crafting juices out and let's create something together. I will take you through step by step.
First, you get your mum or your dad to print out the 2 pages. Then take this one and fold it in half just above the heads of the men, and then cut it out all along the lines that you have this long strip to the side. Once you've done that, you fold up one piece on either side so that the men can stand up. Pull it apart and glue the middle bit with a glue stick, making sure that the flaps aren't glued together. And then you put that aside. Take the picture with the landscape and cut around the house, but making sure that you only cut on the sides and leave the roof intact. And then you cut around the palm trees, but make sure they're still attached to the page. So fold the palm trees out and put your fingers between the house and just above the roof, fold it down and then line up the bottom of the house with the roof where you folded it, and fold the whole thing in one crease so that when you unfold it, the house and the palm tree is standing up. Once you've done that, lie it flat and kind of make a back to the picture and a flap at the bottom that it will stand up. Then open it up and cut along the line at the bottom of it. This will help for the little men to sit in and be able to move. If you don't have a printer, you can do your own. Get a piece of paper, draw a tree and a tall enough house that you can include a roof with a door and a window, and use that as your template. Then you want to take another piece of paper, fold it lengthways, and then draw 3 little men. The men walking to Emmaus. Once you've drawn 3 little men, draw the flap towards the side and the tag around them, that you can cut it out in double and do exactly the same as we did with the other one. You are now ready to test them out and make those men walk from Jerusalem to Emmaus. And don't forget to send us your finished product so it can feature next week.
And of course, you want to see your sheep, the sheep that you have made. I always love getting those pictures, so enjoy them too. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope you'll be truly, truly blessed by knowing that Jesus is with you, that He blesses you, that He wants to help you have open eyes for the way He sees this world. And with those words, I want to bless you and wish you a beautiful week.
And we pray that you have another great week of remote learning at home with school. And we do pray that your family and yourselves are kept safe. Until next week, goodbye.